So, here's the thing. I'm going to Germany.
Oh, so you're going public on the Yolo Braintrust with this announcement.
I'm going to Berlin. I'm moving to Berlin.
Wow.
Beautiful, man. Congratulations.
I'm going public with that. I'm going public with that because I am planning on posting from Berlin.
Oh, geez. So Yolo Braintrust has gone international. We're not just a rinky-dink crew.
Are you allowed to do that?
Field, West Virginia.
Do they let you?
What do you mean? Are you allowed to do
talk
that?
in Germany?
Wait, yeah, you're allowed to speak in Germany.
You know what?
Your own language and everything.
I think Travis brought up a really good point. The Germans aren't very fond of freedom of speech.
Look, they're not fond of freedom of speech. They just have more. They just don't have a true freedom of speech.
I wouldn't
which
call
means they
what
don't
they
really
have
like
freedom of speech under any stretch of the imagination. I think
mean, you're allowed to speak, and you're allowed to speak your mind as long as it doesn't go over one specific topic.
I think it's actually a few.
It's really that one topic, and then the kind of anything adjacent to it.
Right, and well, the adjacent part kind of matters because that's oh, we got 4 viewers right now. Welcome to the Yolo Braintrust episode. Our co-host here just announced. This is the first time the public's finding out about it. He's going to Germany, and I don't know how I feel about that, but it's his life, his decision. And he seems to think that you have freedom of speech laws in Germany. So, go ahead. Floor's yours.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you're allowed to say things.
Listen,
Right.
I mean, I'm all right. Just to make it very clear here, he's moving to Germany because he wants to.
Yeah,
drink
I think
beer
that
all
part
day
was clear.
and live off their social structure.
All right, that's
the reason he wants to go to Germany.
No, that's not the reason.
He wants to go over
He's
there
actually-
and
he's-
claim asylum.
He's going to Germany,
And
and he's going to do race change to Turkish. And he's going to open up like a Donner shop.
Listen, I'm moving to
Donair.
Germany so I can ride trains all day. All right, and drink beer. But the trains are first. All right, the beer drinking is second. The trains are first. The beer drinking is second, and the schnitzel and sausage eating is third. Okay.
Did you let them know on the fact that you speak in no German, and you've never been to Germany? And
they did not.
I will-
You
they did not give
threw a
shit.
dart on a wall and just decided Germany is the one I'm gonna go to today.
No, I planned that out, but they didn't care. They didn't care. They were like, oh, you're American and you have some money in your bank account? Fine, come on over, have fun.
So is that easy?
Yeah,
It was
pretty
not
much.
that easy. It was
It
not
was
that
that easy. It was actually that easy.
He didn't go into the part about the DNA swab, them making sure
They
he
didn't
doesn't have any
swab my
oxygen
DNA.
warrants.
They didn't care about any of that. All they cared about
the-
was 3 months of bank statements, and then they were like,
The
and a
drug
degree.
test. They shaved his leg and to test his hair
Yeah,
for
he's
drugs
lying.
to
This is
make sure
lie.
no
See, I
drugs.
can go all over. You want me to go over the process here? Some people have been asking me about what the process was like. You want a clip? You want a clippable moment?
We
Yeah,
got a lot of
go ahead and
fans
tell
on
us
the
about the
Yolo
process.
Braintrust
Alright, so-
Instagram that have been asking, "Oh my God, wow, how are you getting to Germany as not even a United States citizen?"
So
as a
how are you
United
going to
States
Germany?
permanent
Deutschland
resident?"
as an Jungen?
That sounded racist.
Dude, I don't care.
know.
Dude, you can't be racist against Germans. It's not
First of all,
possible.
You can in that sense. That is the one way that you can. Like you have finally found it.
Well, good.
It
I'm
did not
glad.
sound German. It did not sound German. That
I
sounded,
listen. No offense if there are somehow any Germans watching, but let's just say I'm not a big fan of Germany. Yeah, go ahead and tell us about the process of moving to.
I'm moving to
Whatever
Germany.
this
I'm on
country is
something
called.
something called a Chancenkarte, or an opportunity card. And what that is
Was
a
that like Wunderschösen?
it's a work visa that is open to anybody worldwide, and it allows you to go to Germany and find full-time work for up to a year. You have 1 year to find full-time work and get a different visa. a full-time work visa. But in the pursuit of getting that work, you're allowed to work up to 20 hours a week to support yourself.
You can't work
So it's
more than
different.
20 hours a week?
To support yourself, you can get a part-time job to find work, and then once you find the full-time job, then you can work full-time.
Okay.
But-
Okay. No, that's
so-
understandable.
So the way it's different is it used to be there was a visa where anybody from basically a white country like America, Canada, UK, Australia, New Zealand, and then they threw in like the Asian white countries, so like Japan and Korea.
Sure.
You were allowed to go to Germany for 6 months, for up to 6 months, and find work, but you weren't allowed to work part-time. You had to support yourself entirely on your own money, and you only had 6 months to find a full-time job. Well, they realized that wasn't really working out. It was working out for some people. It wasn't really working out because there's a lot of what they call bottleneck professions in Germany. And these are professions that and industries that they need a lot of people. So nursing is one. There's a nursing shortage in Germany. There's also a software engineer shortage still in Germany. So if you're a software engineer, which I am, you're eligible for this visa as part, as it's a bottleneck position. And so what you have to do is it's very straightforward in terms of getting the visa itself. The process is very straightforward. Once you get the visa, the next step's not as straightforward. Very kind of, I'm still kind of hoping that didn't screw anything up, but naturally getting the visa stamped in your passport, very straightforward. So what you have to do is it's a point-based system, so you have to have at least 6 points, and you get a point for speaking English or speaking German fluently.
That's the real like global American influence. Is that like whatever? If you can speak English, we're not going to force you to learn the local language.
I could be from Korea but get a German work visa because I speak English.
Yes. Literally, it's amazing. But again, this visa is open to anyone. So there's a lot of people from India. If you look at the like who's actually applying, it's mostly Indians, Bangladeshis, Pakistanis. People from Africa can apply, that sort of stuff, but it's mostly Indians. So, you get a point for that. You get a point for having a degree. You get a point for work experience. You get a bunch of points. So basically, as long as you have like 6 points in certain ways, you get a point for being under 35 years old. And if you're married, you get a point for bringing a spouse over. So as long as you get 6 points, you're eligible. And then what you have to do is once you're eligible, you go onto this onto their online platform and you sign up for it and you say, you fill out all the forms. And what you have to fill out is like a general form, and then you fill out where you want to go.
You fill out a general form, and then you fill out a specific form, and then you fill out a minutia form. Yeah. And then after all those 7 forms are together, you're good.
One of the things you have to do is if you're going over in software engineering, you have to prove that you're a software engineer. So you have to prove that you have a degree in a tech related field, and then you have to have like at least 2 years work experience. I didn't have to prove the work experience, but I did have to prove the degree. And the way you prove the degree is you get something called a statement of comparability. And what that is they have this big online platform for all the universities. They basically, if you have a degree outside of Germany, right? If you went to a school that was not a German school and you got a degree that was not from a German school, you have to prove that degree, that university and that degree is comparable to a German education. So you go to this platform and you find out, first of all, you see if somebody went to already filled it out for your university, and if they did, it's good because then you don't have to fill that. You just kind of download the form that says like, hey, this is my university, this is the university I want to see, it's approved. And then you have to look up to see if your degree was somebody like had already done it and submitted it. And if somebody had done your degree for your university, you just download the same form. But if they don't, then you have to fill out the statement of comparability form, and you have to send them all of your transcript data. You have to send them which was kind of annoying because like I had a bunch of credits going into school from like AP, not AP classes, but like college placement classes that were like associated, but like, so I had a bunch of like credits coming in as a freshman, so I had to like.
Those college credit-bearing courses that you can use towards your 100 or whatever degree credit degree requirement, but they wouldn't line up to any actual course at the college.
Yes. Well, they did line up. Some of them lined up to college credit courses, but regardless, because they were technically considered transfer credits. I had to download the transcripts from. I had to like buy the transcript data from those universities too. So I had to buy like, I had like 5 transcripts I had to like purchase for like, I don't know, $6-7 each.
Wow,
so then you get all your
real heavy on the bank account right there.
Yeah, it was just annoying. It was just kind of annoying. Especially because it's like literally you're spending like $8 just on one credit, and you're like, ah. So once you get all of the transcript data and your diploma and stuff, and you send that to the portal, and then they say, you know, wait 2 months, but it took me 2 weeks waiting, and then they come back and they go, here's your statement of comparability, your digital certificate, and then you
already got yours.
Oh yeah, that's the first thing you gotta wait for. So then you do that and you upload that to the visa portal. And then you upload that, and then you got to get German health insurance, and you got to, like, you know, get a reference and all this stuff. Once you do all that, you upload all the documents. You're under, you go under what's called preliminary review, and then they ask you for additional documents. And one of the things you have to do is you have to, if you do it the way I do it, you have to upload a bank statement documentation, so like your last 3 months of bank statements, and you have to show that, you know, you can support yourself for up to a year in Germany, and the minimum you have to have is like something like $1,200 a month, 1,200 euros a month, which is like 12,000, basically 15 grand. If you have $15,000,
you mean for the whole year?
Account, for the whole year, yeah. If you have $15,000 in a bank account, and you can provide 3 months of statements for that, then you're eligible for this. You're pretty golden. I provided like one of my smaller accounts that had like 20 grand in it, and so
yeah, real humble brag right there. Yeah,
so I just provided those bank statements and then some other stuff, and then they send you a kind of a preliminary review. Now you have to go to the consulate. You have to go in person to the consulate and have your appointment. And they tell you what to bring. I had to bring my actual diploma, my original diploma, and so you bring that. It's kind of funny, like, okay, so and then you have to fly to my local New York City. I had to fly to Manhattan and go to the consulate. There's only a few in the United States, and then you have. I just got to the fucking part where you just quit the game.
Yeah. Yep. Good job, buddy. You're listening about your best friend here having to fly to New York City, Manhattan, USA.
It was just he was just so captivating. He captured so much of my attention that I just kind of lost focus on the game.
Yeah, you just rage quit off of what, Tears of the Kingdom on the Nintendo Switch too.
Well, the problem is so many of these guys will just like one shot you at the beginning of the game. What can you do about that? Do I sound like that?
Yeah, that's exactly how you sound.
Anyone in the chat want to fact check that? Points?
Yeah, so you fly to New York and you have this visa appointment. She literally like took my diploma and was like inspecting it. I was like, okay, whatever.
Yo, maybe she wanted to, you know, yo, brother, you ever consider? I'll tell you what. When I do a set at the Funny Club, and you know, I'm getting paid out at the end of the set, as you do, and it's a woman. Most of the time, they're looking at me kind of funny, like they want to, you know. You think it was one of those situations?
No, I think she was married.
You think? Well, that doesn't stop a woman from getting it on, does it?
I guess not.
In this day and age, woman just all you gotta do is make her.
Women be shopping.
You just gotta make her proud, and she'll be coming right after you.
So anyway, she inspects my diploma, and then she's like, okay, so you want Johnson Kata? All right, no problem. And then she's like, and is all the stuff? I'm like, yeah, actually, can I push back the date a little bit? She's like, okay, you know, if you'd like, you know, we make sure that you have the full year to do everything. If you need to push back the date, no problem. But you know, we can have it ready for you in 2 weeks. You can be gone. You can be in Germany in 2 weeks. I was like, I'm not ready for that. That's crazy. And then they take your passport. They take your passport from you, and they send you on your way, and a couple weeks later you get a FedEx. You get a little announcement in the a little message in the platform saying, you know, we have decided your fate. You'll receive your passport tomorrow. Here's the tracking number, and then they overnight your passport.
Wait, when they say they'll send you a passport, it's not, you're not using like a U.S. passport?
Yeah, I have to give them my U.S. passport.
But the passport you're receiving
is my U.S. passport that I handed them to them.
Oh, okay.
They take it from me for like 2 weeks. They're like, you do not have travel plans? You are good? You're okay for us to take passport? I'm like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they take my U.S. passport, and then they don't tell you whether or not you got it in the email. They make you wait until you open your passport, and then I opened my passport and I got a little visa in there. I got a little visa that says I'm valid. You know, I can do 20 hours of work, and it was very easy. And I go on the subreddit and it's like, I've been waiting 6-7 months for this, you know, for my appointment in Mumbai, and I'm like, okay, well, get fucked.
You know what you should do
I got
when
my
you get
appointment.
There? Or keep going.
No, what should I do when I get there?
You should protest. You should protest the Germans for what they did about 80 years ago. Well, really, it ended actually. It's been it was the 80th anniversary of when a certain person. Goodbye. Just a little over a month ago.
You mean the D-Day?
No, not D-Day. When a certain man with who really liked Charlie Chaplin just kind of goodbye. Wow. But you should protest there and make sure that because listen, I don't really get the sense that Germans totally comprehend what they did, and I think it's incumbent upon us as Americans, people who were who live in a country that helped to stop Germany in one of its darkest moments, that we remind them of what they did so they don't do it again.
I think they're fully well aware of what
no, maybe agree to disagree, but I don't really get that sense.
It would be kind of funny to do that protest, though. I think they would think of that. They would see that protest and they would think of it more as like a performance art. They'd see it more as like a joke of like a, yes, obviously, like that is bad.
Yeah, I also get the sense that Germans, you know, have a higher incident rate of cognitive issues for sure.
So yeah, anyway, going to Germany. I got an apartment. I'm hoping.
Oh, so you got the apartment?
Up. Yeah.
So what is the process for like renting an apartment overseas like that?
Oh boy. So I have a room in a co-living facility, basically like a dorm room for adult.
Really? Well, it's a private room, I guess, right?
It's a private room, but it's temporary. It's very much going to be temporary. It's very expensive, comparatively. And what it is in order to get a room. Excuse me. So the process is there's a little bit of like a catch-22, like a chicken before an egg. Like you need this, but in order to get this, you need that. In order to get that, you need this kind of thing. So what I had to do is I had to get this type of room, because this type of room, they didn't really ask many questions as long as I wired in the money. They were good with it, and what it allows me to do is now I have residency. They're going to provide me with a document. I forget the name. I forget the name of the document in German. It's like a. I'm not gonna. It's a very ugly name. But
if you put in the chat, I'll read it out for you. I'd be glad to.
It's like a Wohnungskite or something like that. Anyway, the point is they provide you with a document. So you need to get an apartment. In order to get this document from the landlord, you need to find an apartment that allows you to get this specific agreement. It's like basically like, you know how like in America, like to prove you live somewhere, you have to like provide like the lease agreement or like a copy of a electric bill or something with your address on it. You know, it shows like,
right.
Oh, I'm a resident here, like I'm getting mail here. So they have a very specific like document for that. And so you need that document to get what like a tax ID. So you get that document, then you can go to what's called the Bürgeramt, the city, like city hall basically, and do what's called city registration. Get what's called Anmeldung, which is city registration, which basically shows like I am a resident of the city officially, and then you get a tax identification number and you get all this documentation. Once you get that, now you're officially a resident of the city, you have a tax ID, now you can get like a bank account, you can get a job, you can get all this stuff. So you need that to do that. And a lot of times in order to rent an apartment, you need to have a rental history, because you need a credit report, which is called a Schufa. That's their brand of credit reporting. And in order to get a Schufa, you need like the you know, it's basically, again, you need like a bank account and stuff like that, but you can't get a bank account until you get the, you know, apartment, and you can't get the apartment until you get the bank account. So it's a bunch of, so I had to do this because they didn't require a bank account. I could wire them the money, and so now I'll be able to get an apartment. I'll be able to get the city registration, and then I'll be able to get a bank account, and then I'll be able to build credit, and then I can find a room and a different apartment that's much cheaper, and then I'll be able to, you know, cut my costs down a little bit and have some more space and be able to live. So yeah, there's a lot of paperwork I'm gonna have to do right off the bat. It's gonna be a real pain in the ass.
That sounds pretty German. I mean, that's really kind of inoculating you to the German experience, right?
Yes, waiting in line at the Bürgeramt.
It's amazing that. Well, I'm not gonna say it.
It's amazing at what?
There's still a place called there's a unified Germany.
I've never understood the allure behind European nations. I mean,
I think some of them are cool. I just
trains.
Germany's
cool to visit, not cool to live.
Dude, trains though.
Yeah, and whatever, dude. It's like you're never gonna be able to explain it to somebody. You're never gonna be able to explain it to somebody. Germany
is one that I'm not particularly interested in, but I think there's a lot of cool European nations. I don't know. I try to read a lot of books, and the more books I read, the more I'm like, oh, dude, Germany kind of sucked here. Oh, they sucked there. Oh, this seems to be a constant. Hello, welcome to the chat. We're just talking about how we feel about Germany as a country, which this man will, one of our co-hosts will soon be residing in. But I think like France seems cool. England seems cool. Italy seems cool.
France is there's French there.
Yeah, well, I would pick them over the Germans.
Well, you don't know much about much, so.
Maybe not. I don't know. But that's definitely how I feel.
Because like the Germans are way cooler than the French.
In what world?
In the world we live in.
Grok, can you fact check that? But I think it's exciting that you're gonna have a big change of pace here. I do,
In the world of language.
I think. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it works out well for you. I mean, what do you?
I do too.
What do you? I don't know if this is a good time for you to say or not, but what do you want to get out of it? Like, do you want to potentially? Do you just want to enrich yourself, or is this kind of like culturally, or is this something you kind of foresee maybe being, something that could potentially segue into something more permanent?
I mean, I could see myself permanent. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to see how living there works. One of the things is what I would, at least what I want, is it for it to segue into a position at a company that like I kind of get like a you drink whiskey every day and it's nice. I don't drink whiskey every day, but it is nice. Currently
in Germany?
On some,
no, I think maybe you're saying about Germany.
Oh, I would drink beer every day in Germany, but yeah, I mean whiskey.
Yeah, and then you'd get fat.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
You don't know that.
Yeah, you don't know.
Shaw.
That.
You don't have the right to speak for Bobby on matters such as.
Hey,
Well, the point is, the software engineers live sedentary lifestyles for the most part, and then now you're talking about maybe drinking beer every day, which is a very calorie-intensive drink.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, is you don't know much about
Germany.
Europe. I'm talking about Germany. And in Germany, you don't live as much of a sedentary lifestyle.
Shaw, it's time to go to the Kino building. Did I say that right? Is that good German?
Oh wow, you're not gonna live a sedentary lifestyle. They need software engineers. What do software engineers do? They sit in a chair all day thinking.
Yeah, but I mean,
well, he's saying like the cities are better for walking in. I think it's
you
really
walk around a lot more.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna be. It's not like I'm gonna sit in a car after I'm in that chair. I'm gonna walk from my apartment to the place where I need to be software engineering. And then you have to walk to the grocery store, and then you have to walk to the park or the bar. You have to walk to the bar.
Yeah, are you trying to find yourself a lovely little German lass, perhaps?
I don't know. We'll see. You know, who knows what happens. But one of the things I want is I could see myself is, you know, in 10 years or so, I could see myself, you know, working at a multinational.
And just real quick, in case I didn't say it, welcome to the chat, HVR. We're glad to have you. Thank you. Sorry. Now you can keep going. You see yourself in.
I see myself.
Germany's not nice, by the way, HVR. I don't know where you got that notion or who told you that.
Well, it's a matter. Let's be cordial to.
It's not a matter.
Let's be cordial
to
our chatters here. All right.
Listen, listen, guys. I've known this guy for 20 years, and he's been barking up the wrong tree since the day he was born.
HVR.
Let's get this straight. Yeah, that guy. Whatever.
Oh, you know him?
Yeah. I've known him for 20 years.
Well, I respect him just for chatting, and I'm gonna honor his opinion. I may go after Bobby's opinion. I may go after your opinion, but I'm not gonna go after your
chatters. You drink
chatters.
whiskey every day and it's nice. That's horrible, dude.
Think
about the rot gut your liver's gonna have to deal with.
So
people die from alcohol addiction.
Okay.
Yeah,
and a lot of them never even know that it was alcohol addiction that they were suffering.
Germany's caused
people die from
death.
being a little bitch like you.
Okay. All right. That was totally uncalled for. There was no reason to make a scumbag comment like that.